This bit of Excel's functionality involves a data table. We're going to create a one variable data table. I have some figures that involve borrowing money for a house that we're paying $250,000 for with a 10% deposit, and the loan spans 30 years at 7% annual rate of interest. Those input values generate these output values, which is the amount borrowed. The loan is the price paid minus the deposit. That's the payment for the amount borrowed over 30 years at 7%. That's the total amount paid, and that's the total interest. Well, we can set up a data table that will generate all of those output values for a given range of interest at the same time. And the way we set this up is we reference the values contained in the cells with the formulas. The next thing we want to do is determine a beginning rate of interest. Let's say 0.04%. And then we're going to incrementally increase this by some amount, which I determined to be 0.25%. Control Enter, and then we're going to copy this down a number of rows. So this data table is going to generate output values for the amount borrowed, the payment, the total paid, and the total interest for each one of these different rates of interest. So we're now going to define the data table. And the way we do that is to select this entire area, beginning in the upper left blank cell, go to Data, go to What If Analysis in the Data Tools, and left-click Data Table. We have two possible values to enter into these fields. But since we're setting up a one-variable data table, we actually only have to enter values into one of these fields. If this was a two-variable data table, we'd enter a value into the row input cell and the column input cell. But since we have only one variable and it is contained in a column, and that input cell for the rate of interest is here, this is how we'll set up the data table. Left-clicking OK. The rest of those cells get populated in the data table that I can select and reformat. And so we can see the changing rates of payment, total paid, and interest expense for the varying rates of interest that we have in the data table. And this data table is dynamic, so that when I change one of the input cells, the data table values change. And when I change this increment, the data table changes once again, because I define the changing rates of interest to be the interest in the row above plus the value that's in the cell that contains the increment.